receive you and deliver you see. And so it doesn't matter how hard you till the ground. It doesn't matter how many jobs you.
All right. So let me. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Happy. What is it? Um,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Everyone. Hi, Millie. So put in the chat where you are watching from. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. But yes, in the chat if you guys can hear us, okay? I'm so excited, guys. This is gonna be exciting. Hi, Tamia. All right. So today I am going to be talking with the app queen. So already, I know you guys are already excited about it. And then if you're in the chat in Facebook or YouTube, put where you're watching from. Let's see where you're from. And then don't forget, as we get started, any questions you have for her, just write it in the comments, and then I'll be able to pull it up on the screen, and then she'll be able to answer it. But first, let's go ahead and dive right in. Millie's watching all the way from Delaware. All right, all right. So welcome, Bukola. So just tell everyone, who are you, where you're from, and yeah, and then we'll talk about how you became the app queen.
Yes, my name is Bukola. I currently live out in Houston, Texas, but I am Nigerian by birth. And I guess I grew up in New Jersey in the East Coast. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, where you originally? You just grew up there, but you were born in
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay. All right, awesome. So how were you coined as the app queen? Like, how did that happen?
Oh, it's over. It's like a 22-year journey, actually. I started out in technology through undergrad. I went to Wesleyan University out in Connecticut, did my computer science major, and then NJIT, did my master's. And I just had a knack for building things. I loved how things worked. I like if I saw something, I always wanted to like something mechanical. I always wanted to like take it apart and see like how things work. That was just me. And then when I was in college, my professor, I would just, when you go to college, you don't really know what you want to do at first, right? So I just put a bunch of classes there. I put computer science because I was good at typing, and my professor told me like, I think you have a knack for this because your project, you just built like this radio app project, and it was the best in the class. Like, you should consider like, going into computer science. So I was like, okay, no problem. And I went into computer science, graduated my degree, and like we literally skyrocketed into like around 9/11 when no one could get jobs.
Oh wow.
That was a terrible time for anybody like in the working field. I had to like upskill, right? I had to start taking like certifications, trying to learn like other fields, like how to build like laptops, like taking apart laptops, fixing laptops. So imagine having a computer science degree. Now, instead of like going into a job that pays me to be a programmer, now I'm looking like, how could I take apart this laptop, replace the battery, replace the keyboard? So I started doing that for about 2 years until the tech field started picking up. This was like before Facebook. Okay, y'all, I'm old. I look,
MySpace, MySpace.
I look like I'm young, but yeah, I've been working before there was a Facebook, before there were all these big tech companies. So I've been working since, for a very, very long time, even before there were mobile apps and smartphones.
So how were you able to, when did you narrow it down from, okay, just computer science to I want to specifically do apps?
Right. So here's a good story. Back in 2009, this is when people were still using BlackBerry. I had gone to Nigeria for my sister's wedding, and I was just blown away by, this. I was into secular music at the time, and Afrobeats was just a new thing. And I was like, wait, we should be able to hear Afrobeats here in the US. Like, I feel like we don't have that access. We always have to bring CDs. Like, even when you go to Jamaica, you got to bring the CDs. So I was like, let me build an app that kind of like focused on African music. So I built one, and it went viral. Like, it was all over the place. Like, musicians were tweeting about it on Twitter. It just went viral. So I was like, maybe I should just go into mobile because I built this thing. It had hundreds of thousands of people on it. went viral, and I just like switched gears and went into BlackBerry development. So I started building apps for BlackBerry at the time. So
Mhm.
yeah, and then when BlackBerry, started going down in the market, I had to switch over to building apps for Android phones. So like Samsung and Google Pixel and all that stuff. I started building apps for that. I started building a bunch of apps. I've built personally, like on my own, maybe like 15 apps. I built one for podcasting. I built one for beauty and health. That one had 30,000 people on it. And another key fact, I was the first engineer on Ancestry DNA.
Hmm.
So they have an app that actually this app never existed. So the app for actually getting your DNA tested, it was me and my coworker that came up with that app. I
Wow.
was the first engineer on that to build the prototype out. It ended up getting hundreds of thousands of users on
Wow.
there.
Wow. That's awesome. All right. So, how long have you been in the app space?
Since 2009, when I built the first app that went viral. So I've been doing that. Mostly my specialty is building Android apps, but now I've recently gotten into cross-platform, which is like building for both iOS and Android. So the couple of apps I just built recently, they're called cross-platform. So they're available on Android and for iOS.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So in the app space, with all the technology and everything that's coming up, is AI becoming an issue in that space, or is that actually, kind of a good thing?
AI could be a good or a bad thing, but for tech jobs, it's been terrible. I don't know if you've been following the news, but companies like Meta, they laid off people because they're switching into this AI where they feel like they don't need a bunch of engineers; they could just have AI do it. So this is like a trend that's going on. So many different companies have laid off hundreds of thousands of people, and they've lost their jobs. I know a lot of people who've lost their jobs because of AI, but they're saying AI is going to be this great thing that's supposed to help us improve. I personally think it's from the devil, but that's another that's another story. But to me, I feel like those fallen angels came in and gave people some knowledge,
Mm,
and that's what AI is all about.
hmm. Okay. So, as far as being in the app space, there's a lot of people that are like, okay, well, I have my website, for my business. I'm getting clients through that, and I could do SEO with that. So they might say, well, why do I need an app? What would you say to that?
I would definitely say not everybody needs an app because, to be quite honest, as someone who's pro app, apps are expensive and you have to maintain them. So if you're building something that could be your marketing could be accomplished or by a website or Facebook presence or an Instagram or TikTok presence, I would recommend doing that because even you can do Facebook Marketplace, you could do TikTok Shop. So there's a lot of platforms that are available for cheap that you can actually use for your business. But if you are someone building maybe a community, right, and you want full ownership of your community, because that's the thing with Facebook, right? They don't give you full ownership. And anytime you could be deplatformed, even on YouTube. Okay. So deplatforming is basically you have no ownership of your audience. And if they kick you off, you lose access, right? But if you have something like a mobile app, that means every single customer that signs up to your app, you own them at that point. Like you still have access to contact them. You have their email addresses. There's always a way to still have ownership over your audience, which you don't get with other platforms. So if you're building something that's community based, I would recommend building an app.
Okay, so say for example, there's been times when I may be doing an interview with someone, and maybe I'm talking about a topic that I don't know, the powers that be may not necessarily want me to
Mhm,
talk about, and sometimes they'll cut things, out of it. So what
mhm.
you're saying is, if I have my own app or my own platform, then the members that are in my mentorship or my ministry, everything, we can privately be able to congregate, and even if the other platforms were shut down. That
Exactly.
okay.
That's the main benefit of it. You control everything. There's no like freedom of speech, censoring anything. This is your audience. I mean, you can even send them emails through a newsletter built off of that audience. There's so many things that you can do with that.
Okay. Oh, okay. So typically the app has more, it sounds like it has more features then, because you said you can send them emails. What
Yeah,
are some of the
definitely.
other features that, come with some of the apps that you create?
I mean, it depends on what the business owner is looking for. So I built an app for a plastic surgeon, and they wanted to kind of send out push notifications whenever they had deals and sales. So they were able to go into their app, type up a push notification, and it sends out to all their customers. Like we're having a day spa day. You guys come through from 12 to 2, and then they get it immediately. So emails, so my issue with emails is that they're not immediate, right? You can get an email and not notice that email for days. But something like a push notification that gets transmitted to your phone instantly. So when you're trying to have an event that is at a certain time, you want to make sure that you're able to reach your customers at that particular time so they don't miss the event. So I would recommend having an app for that.
Okay. I mean, and people are using, these apps for a lot of different things. I saw one of the apps that you created, the Christian app.
Mhm.
And it had like all of these different, it had like Deep Believer on it, all these different shows, and everything on it. So are you, I mean, I know initially, when you started, you were making apps, just for anyone, and you still are.
Yes, I am.
So are you, was there anything different when you started making apps for, I don't know, Christians and Christian businesses or ministries, compared to just making apps, for, just regular businesses?
Yeah, of course. Like, I mean, definitely like the conviction came from the Holy Spirit, right? Because I was building a lot of secular apps, and I was like, okay, I've been given this amazing gift by God. Like, how am I using my gift to glorify God? So I was like, okay, let me start seeing what the needs are in the Christian community. Like, I didn't really see a space that was already being satisfied for that. So I was like, okay, let me start building some apps that are just Christian focused. That's how I came up with Sanctified. Like, Sanctified is a platform for watching Christian content. So I have you on there now. I have Deep Believer. Shout out to her because that's how I found out about you, by the way, and a bunch of other Christian content providers that you can actually stop watching secular TV. Because I stopped watching secular TV almost a year ago. I don't even watch secular content at all. Like, I
Wow.
just watch Christian programming. It says guard your eye and your ear gates, right? I will
Right.
not set a wicked thing upon my eyes. Right? Let me.
So I'm gonna briefly put her thing up here. So for those of you who want to see it, but if you're on here, I don't know if you'll be able to scan the QR code. Um, but so you guys can see just a snapshot of what the app looks like. So you can see the one here on I believe the one on the right is Sanctified, is her
Yeah,
Sanctified app. And then there's the one on the left is the Signs and Wonders
yeah.
app. And then you can, go to her website or just scan the QR code, if you want to see those. So it's really cool because if you're wanting to maybe only watch a certain type of content and you want to kind of control what's coming in front of you, because I think that's the biggest issue with Christians guarding their eye gates, right? Because
Mhm.
you on a public platform, right, like Facebook, or uh don't go on Instagram or TikTok. You don't know what's going to pop up at, at any moment. You can be literally just watching something that's
And the algorithm. Yeah.
scriptural, and then the next thing is like somebody half naked. So you have no
Mhm.
idea and not much control over what's popping up in front of you. But I think, in the app space, especially the Sanctified app, you're only seeing the type of content that you want to see. And you don't have to worry about, different things popping up in front of you. We have a question here in the chat from Tiffany. She says, what's the turnaround for the app to go live? So if you're making an app for somebody, what's the turnaround on that?
So it depends on the complexity of the app, what exactly you're trying to build. So if it's something simple with minimal features, it, it could be done in 4 weeks. But if you're trying to build like something like large scale, like you're trying to build the next TikTok, that might be a couple of months to get that.
Okay.
But I never, this is my advice to anybody who wants to build an app, never ever build a full app like from your get go.
Mhm,
Always build something called an MVP. That's why I have the business called mymvpapp.com. And what is
mhm.
that? It means minimal viable product. So basically, you build a small scale version of your app with just maybe one or two or three features so that you can test your audience and be like, without spending a lot of money. So I'm only building three features in this app. I'm going to put it out there and see the interest. And then from then, I'm going to build on and add more and more features. So you're not spending a lot of money, because some people want to build an app that, is going to cost them thousands of dollars, and they put it out there and nobody wants it. I don't want this app. I don't want this app. Now you just cost thousands of dollars. Build something small, test your audience, and see if the reception of it, and then you go and you build more and more features. That's what I always advise people to do.
Okay, people are already downloading Sanctified in the chat, in the comments. But that's really a good idea. I was just getting ready to ask you something pertaining to that. So, when you're building an app, let's say, okay, because you said start small and just start with like minimal features. So that's what I was going to ask you. Like, how does the testing work? So when you first, because how like with, being in programming, like there's like QA, right? You have people that actually test the websites, the apps.
Okay, you know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yes, I know about quality assurance, software testing. Yeah, I have a friend that teaches, a class, and then I have another one that teaches cybersecurity. So yeah, so there's A/B testing. You want to make sure there's no bugs and everything before people start using it. So what does that process look like with your services?
That's all included in the actual services. So everything is properly QA'd. Each feature is QA'd before it ever gets to the client. It's properly gone over, tested. We have test cases that we develop for each feature, and we make sure all those things are checked off before it ever goes live. So yeah, quality. I'm one of those people that I'm like an overachiever when it comes to quality. Like I don't want one single issue going out.
Okay. And my concern with that also is because if you go live with it and then there's still bugs, you could lose some people, along the way because they're like, oh, this doesn't work. And then
yeah, that
try
happens
to get
to a
them
lot of
back.
people. It happens to a lot of people. I thank God it hasn't happened to me yet. But people don't spend enough time quality testing their apps before they release them, and that's why they could end up having issues. Another thing that I ran into, which was a bad thing, like the last app I built, the last secular apps before I moved into Christian apps, it was the beauty app, right? So it was called Glow Up. It's like an app that you get tips on beauty and like fashion and stuff like that. That app blew up without me even thinking about it. Like I didn't even do any marketing. 30,000 people. So imagine me building what I felt was just the MVP and it getting so much traffic that it actually affected the app because I didn't build it to be that scale.
Just sustain that many.
Yeah. So I had to shut the app down because of I had built it on a back end that was costing me so much money, like thousands of dollars a month, and I hadn't built it to that level to handle that level of audience. So
Wow.
I did an app that was going thousands of users a day. I literally had to go and shut it down because I'm like,
Oh,
I will get a bill from Google and they don't care. They will send you a bill for $100,000.
whoa.
Oh, they've sent people bills for $100,000.
Okay,
And
so how does that work though? Like, where is that charge coming from? So there's fees to maintain the app being on.
the back end part of it. So there's something called Firebase, which is like the database back end for an app, and Google charges you per user, basically per connection. So they keep charging you and charging you, and if you're getting a huge load of traffic, if you don't minimize that, it could skyrocket. Like you'll see forums. I've gone into Reddit forums, and they're like, Google just tried to charge my credit card $100,000.
Whoa.
And
Well,
like,
okay. So essentially, that makes sense as to why people charge for their apps to use their
yeah,
apps versus
cost.
having. Because I know, like for a website, you may have hosting fees, but I was not aware that is it kind of similar for the app. So basically, in order for your app to be on Google or like the App Store in the iOS. Are there fees for both if you have them on both platforms?
There are fees, but those are not actually the major fees. The fees that Google charges is like a a yearly developer fee, and Apple charges the same thing. It's like $100. That one is not the cost. The cost is the back end. So they charge per traffic.
Oh, for the traffic.
Yes. the traffic that's coming in. It's called requests. So the higher your traffic and the bandwidth, that's what they charge for. Like they have like ways of measuring how many people are accessing your app, how many requests they're making, and they charge you based on that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're using the best backend possible. I don't use anything from Google anymore for my apps because they're way more expensive than other people. So I found different services that I can use that's way cheaper, and I wouldn't have those big bills. Like these two Christian apps that I built, I'm using a different backend for it, and it's much, much cheaper. Like I don't have to worry about, even if I get a million users, I don't have to worry about the cost. I'm good. Well, I had to learn the hard way because when I saw those bills coming in from Google, thousands of dollars a month, I was like, no, I wasn't ready.
It's like, bye, Google.
I was not ready.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even know that. That you had to have that. So basically, they're charging per user. Is it a set amount per user that they're
It's called
charging?
requests. So
Are
every
you able to mitigate that by like charging each user, or?
I mean, you could, but the thing about apps is like, if you look at a lot of apps, most people don't want to pay for apps. They want a free app. That's why you got Facebook. That's why you got YouTube. That's why you got TikTok. Nobody trying to pay for no apps. So that's why you have to find like other ways to kind of make money out of apps. Some people do like ads, like Facebook does ads. You can offer like services through your app. So there are other ways to make money. Most people are just not going to pay for apps. So you got to find a different way to mitigate that. I mean, but there are other things to keep your costs low for the requests. They're called requests. So as you actually, you code in like a request, it goes into the server and it pulls down data. They count that as one. And then the more you do that, they bill you by each request. So one user could have hundreds of requests.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can see how quickly you can get to 1 million requests. I was getting 10 million requests a day. 10 million a day. So think about that. 10 million a day. And then apps like TikTok and Google, they're probably getting billions of requests a day.
Sheesh.
So it could get pretty expensive.
So what happens if somebody doesn't know and they do get $100,000 bill?
Oh, it's happened. Oh, they
now you're on a hook to pay. Okay, can you get out of that? Like you just take your app down, or like how does?
We'll cry real tears, okay? So what happens is Google will normally work with you to like maybe like, okay, you can cry and say, okay, it was a mistake. There was a bug in my code that caused this. So they will lower your bill. Sometimes they'll get rid of it completely, but sometimes they'll say, no, you still got to pay on like a certain percentage. So this one guy, he said he got it down from 100K to like 10,000. But still, 10,000 is a lot of money.
For something that you didn't, necessarily expect to happen.
Right. Yeah, they'll work with you for the most part, but
wow,
you only get one chance. You can't do that twice. They will send you that $100,000 bill.
All right. So, wait, I have the wrong thing up here. Give me a second. Let me take it off. All right. So we have another question on here, and it says, so did you close the app down to upgrade the back end to hold more traffic? Like, did you have to close it down?
I did close it down. That was my initial plan, was to upgrade the back end, but then I kept getting convicted by the Holy Spirit. Like, okay, how is this app glorifying God? Like this app is kind of like, I thought it was harmless, but it's promoting vanity in a way, like beauty and stuff like that. So it's like it's a little bit kind of vain. So I just let it go. But people are still emailing. That's the crazy thing. Even yesterday, I got an email telling me when is the app coming back up.
Wow.
I was like, oh.
But Glow Up, I mean, you can do something with Glow Up. I think you could, switch it up a little bit to glorify God.
Maybe it just looked like it was kind of like vanity. Like people want to look better, they want to do their hair better. Like we used to have hair growth challenges, and those were really popular. So we would have a challenge to grow your hair for the month, and people will get inches and inches using a certain routine. So, and then people had the skincare challenge where they would use a certain product for 30 days and then post their results. So it was popular. It was getting real popular.
Okay. Ashley, I see your question on here. You're asking. You says, "Do you still do websites?" Are you asking Bukola if she does websites, or I mean, she does do websites. I mean,
Yes, my consulting company does websites. So we build websites, we build apps, we do some marketing, branding, logos, business cards, you know, bunch of stuff.
okay. Tiffany, was that a question? What the in-app purchases, or
That's
um,
actually a good point. I can tell she knows what she's talking about. So in-app purchases is another way that people make money. They offer like a product a digital product that you can buy within the app. A lot of games do that. So like if you want to buy like level up on a certain game, they'll say, okay, buy this like sword or whatever for whatever fake money. And you'll pay real money. Pay real money for fake coins, and they make money off of that.
that makes
Mhm.
sense. So it's like if you want to, like, I don't know, move up to the next level,
Yeah.
or get the cheat code or something, you
Mhm.
gotta like buy this. Okay,
Fake
wow.
digital product. Yeah.
Okay, so that's actually good. With all right. Um, Ashley says, "Are you no longer making websites?" For me, yes, I would do still make websites, but you have to be in like one of our programs for to have a website made. But yes, so now let's say somebody in here. Um, yeah, I see Tiffany. We do have another question, so let me just go ahead and give you that question. Joanne says, "What determines the ads on apps? Does the owner have to actually reach out to advertisers, or is that automatically done on the back end for the ads?"
So there's something called mobile ad SDKs. So Google has one called AdMob. So
Mhm.
basically, all you do is you integrate that particular SDK. Now, SDK is Software Development Kit. That's what it stands for. And basically, you don't have to do anything. You just put that code, and then ads just show up automatically, and they pay you for every time an ad shows up on your app. But the only thing about that is it takes a lot to earn a decent anything. Like you could have maybe 3,000 impressions, which is like views, you earn 0.001 cent.
Wow.
You
I mean,
would
it's,
need
well, it's
millions.
kind of like YouTube a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You would need millions and millions of people using the app to make any kind of decent money on there. Because it's even worse than the YouTube payments, like for mobile ads. It's worse. Like it's 0.0000. Like
But then at that point, if you're getting to the point where you have, let's say, 100,000 users,
mhm.
right? I mean, then you can start charging. Like, just charge them like 50 cents each.
Yeah, you could.
Doesn't even have to be a lot. If you charge them 99 cents,
Yeah.
um,
If you
yep.
could figure out that if your users love your app enough to pay for it, some do. Some people like they can't live without that app, and they'll be
Mhm.
like, you know,
And that's the thing. With $1, people don't complain about 99 cents.
that
You know what I'm saying?
you'll be
You may
surprised.
complain about 9.99, but the 99 cents, people don't really think about that.
You would think so, right?
Million users. I mean, that's $1 million. I'm just saying.
It could work for certain apps, but one thing I always do is I always test, right? So in Glow Up, I actually did a test case, like the A/B test that you're talking about. I
Hmm.
put in a membership for I think it was $2.99 a month, just to see how many people would actually buy it.
Hmm.
It was like 3 people. I'm telling you, people
You
don't
should have
want to.
tested it at 99 cents and then see,
I'm telling you, these people that, and it was even a feature that they kept requesting because I built in a feature where I had people from all over the world downloading apps, so they wanted to translate it
Mhm.
into their language. So they would like, I can't understand this English, translate. So I put in a translator, but the translator is expensive, so I had to make money off of it. I put it in, and they didn't. You know how many requests I got to put in this translator? Once I said pay, it was $2.99. I said pay one, like 3 people did it. And then the other people was like, oh well. And they just
Oh,
like,
wow. Well, I guess it's not that serious.
exactly, I guess we'll manage the English somehow. They figured it out real quick.
Yep, that's right, Tiffany. People like free 99. All
Yeah.
right. So I have a question here from Chloe. She says, how can we as Christian creators Also post content on your app, such as the Sanctified app.
So if you have a YouTube channel, that's the easiest way that I can pull your content in. So you can email me with your Christian content, and then we can add it to the app.
Okay.
That's the easiest way. I mostly just pull from YouTube because the way my app works is that it pays the content providers. So anyone that's on my app, you will be paid as people watch your content on my app. You get paid.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Okay.
Like
Um,
it adds to your Google, like your YouTube views.
okay. So where would they go to email you?
My website, the my
That's why I popped
MVP.
it back up for a second so they could
Mhm.
see it. So you go to her website to email her if you're interested in, having your YouTube channel. If you're, a Christian influencer, or if you have a YouTube channel, I don't know, maybe for your business or whatever. But this is a sanctified app, so it's probably going to be Christian content only. Um,
Yes.
then you could just contact her, and because you guys, if have you guys gone onto the sanctified app? Who's clicked on it so far? It looks like this person knows you.
Oh, it's probably from my church.
You see what they wrote?
I think it's
uh, so Chloe says, yes, I do post on YouTube. That's amazing. Thank you. Okay, awesome. So you guys would have to email her if you have a YouTube channel or something that you would like to promote um, on here. So as far as the app, business goes, since you've been in it, um, do you think that is something that's picking up right now? Do you think apps are going to be, like, let's say if somebody invests in an app right now, do you think it's gonna, still people still be using apps in the next, I don't know, however many years with all that new technology that's coming up?
Yeah, I don't think apps are going anywhere, to be honest. Even with AI, what they're doing with AI, they're just finding other ways to kind of build the apps quicker for cheaper. But apps in general, as long as we still have smartphones, they're not going anywhere because you're still going to need to have some apps on the smartphone. So that I would encourage everybody to learn it. I'm actually going to be teaching a class on
Hmm.
building mobile apps. I'm actually almost completed that course right now. So I would say if you're interested in that line of work, I'll be teaching a class. And that'll be available on my website once it's ready as well.
Okay, so basically you building your own app.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
curious. All right, so when is that class coming out?
It's coming out. It's almost done. I'm filming. I have like 8 episodes done. I have a couple of episodes to go, and I'll be launching it. And I'll be launching it all over, like internationally, because there's some schools in Africa that they're looking for, instructors and stuff like that to teach their students. So I'll be partnering with universities in different African countries to launch the teaching class.
Okay, so when the course launches, do you kind of already have an idea how much it's going to cost? I'm sure some people
Ooh, not yet. Well,
not
I'm,
yet.
I'm still working out. I love to test things out, so I'll offer it at different price points and see how it works.
Can I do a test?
Oh yeah, no, I got you, girl. You are my friend for life.
I want the testing price. So let me test it out.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you.
Okay, yeah, this is a great question. Tasha's asking, is it with or without coding?
Oh, it's coding. So but I break it down in a way because it's a beginner's class. So I
Mhm.
break it down in a way that you should be able to understand, but you would need a little bit of some fundamentals before being able to take the class. So you would have to do maybe like a coding fundamental class first, and then you should be able to pick it up.
Okay, where could they go for that coding fundamental class?
Mostly YouTube, to be honest. If you just do a Google search for object oriented programming on YouTube, you're able to find free training and just learn like the fundamentals of that.
Okay, that's good to know. Tosh says beta.
Yes, beta testing. Oh, she knows all the words.
I want to be a part of that. The beta. That's where I want to come in at. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, so Rachel says she can't find the signs and wonders one. I don't know if the
It should be on the QR code.
yeah. Let me put the code back up and try to scan it with my phone real quick. Let's see if it
Yeah,
works. All right. So the signs and wonders one app that she has is the one that's on the left.
yeah, it should go to SNWAPP signsandwondersapp.com.
Okay, let me scan it. SNWAPP.com. Yeah, it went there.
Hmm.
Did you do it by scanning the QR code, Rachel?
Oh, and let me actually tell people about this app because I think we just didn't focus on Sanctify. So
Mhm.
Signs and Wonders app is intercessory prayer platform. So
Ooh,
so basically, it's a community where you can go and you can make a prayer request, and other people on the platform could pray for you.
ooh.
You can pray for other people. And it's been awesome because the last testimony that we got, the person said $3,000 popped up in their account just like that after making a prayer request. They were
Hmm.
like, they never believed in miracle money, but they sent me a testimony like, I don't know what happened, but the money I was praying for just ended up in my account. And they sent me a testimony on the app.
Interesting. Okay, so that's what the Signs and Wonders app is, guys. I'm gonna put it back up here. For those of you that are watching, it's the one on the left, the Signs and Wonders app, and the website is snwapp.com. If you scan it, that's what'll come up. So S as in Sam, N as in Nancy, WA, and then P as in Paul. So snwapp.com.
Yep.
That's the Signs and Wonders app. That's the one over here on the left. That's the one that she says is that's a pretty cool idea though.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
If you
you
can
pray for other people pray for you. It's
put a prayer
amazing.
request. Okay,
Yeah.
that is awesome. You put in prayer requests. Is this is something that you came up with, right?
Hmm.
Wow. Okay, this is good.
And I
See,
have another one coming up too, and that one is gonna blow these two out of the water.
what? All right, David Jacob says, "Watching Miss B, bring it on." Okay.
That's in my church too. I'm if you call me Miss B, that's in my church.
Yeah, so Tiffany says she downloaded Sanctified. All right, awesome. So how does it work as far as people getting paid? So you said like for the Sanctified app, being that my YouTube channel is on there. So if people watch my content on there, I would get paid?
Yes, it basically ties into your YouTube views, so it keeps adding views to your YouTube views.
Oh,
Mhm.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another good thing about the Sanctified app is, so YouTube has a specific algorithm for showing your videos, right? I
Mm,
created a different algorithm. So I can pull
yeah,
up
I like it.
your videos that are older and put them in a rotation so people start discovering your old videos. So now you start getting royalties on your older videos that you thought, were back in the day, but it pulls it up from my algorithm that I would.
Mm,
One of the reasons I wanted to do it is because I had all these content creators that I love, but I was never discovering the older stuff. But with the algorithm, it just randomly pulls up old stuff. You're
okay.
like, oh, okay, this was from 2 years ago, but this is relevant right now.
Jean Paul is asking, is it a deliverance app? That's a good app idea too.
Not necessarily a deliverance app, but
But
I do post different videos that I find very helpful to the body. Like I posted your video where you talked about your visit to heaven because that's the first time I saw you, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I just sent it out to everybody on the app as a divine. I call it divine insight, and
mhm.
I'll send that to everybody. It will pop up in their phone. Watch Patience Theme. Go,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Joanne, let me see if this is a question. She says, for a community type organization, um, how would how would they even monetize the app if it's not ad generated? Because it sounds like the maintenance is costing. So yeah, so she says it just adds to your YouTube views, but without you having to jump through the hoops of all the algorithms on YouTube to get in front of everybody else's videos.
Right.
I like that.
And it also introduces other content providers to a YouTube audience that is looking for that content. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is we because my app is specifically Christian content providers. You don't have to go through YouTube searching for different ones. And some people they won't show up in the search. So
Right.
my app is a specific platform just for that content. So it doesn't get crowded with other YouTube content that's not relevant to what you're looking for.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we need to talk because there's a couple of apps that I've been wanting to put out there. Um, because even, I know PureFlix is kind of like the Christian version of Netflix where you
Mhm.
can watch Christian new movies and stuff. And so I was kind of looking at doing something like that, but specifically with just Christian movies, but
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the watered down Christian movies. I'm not, because that's the only problem with Pureflix. It's
Mhm.
like some of the stuff you don't quite know if it's really Christian or not.
Right.
But I wanted something where they that's actually edifying when you watch it. You're actually,
Mhm.
but on the entertainment side, so we're not like forced to watch like. 'Cause if you've seen some of the movies on,
Mhm.
it's just like it's just a sad. I'm just saying it's a sad excuse for a movie.
No, I get it totally.
Kid act is just yeah. So, but I want to do something like that, but specifically for good quality Christian content. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk about a couple of apps.
I would definitely love to work with you on that because one thing that I've noticed myself too is that the Christian content, especially the movies, some of the quality is so low. First of all,
They suck. Okay, just straight up. So
there's not a lot of investment in that industry at all. There's not a lot of investment. So it's like, man, finding that content was so like I have a few on my app, on the Sanctified app, maybe like 10, but it was hard. Like I was searching and
exactly.
searching, and I was like,
Yes.
it's so hard to find like content. Yes, all day long. People got a lot of YouTube videos on regular content, but movies, oh no. That was
Exactly.
so hard.
So we need a platform specifically for that. So people who are like, I'm guarding my gates. I don't want to be scrolling down TikTok and see the wrong thing. You know, I want to be in an app where if I want to, if it's like, okay, it's movie night or whatever, I know I can have a platform that I can go to, get a fun, edifying movie for me and my family to watch, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, something that's not, because even I used to make make jokes about some of the African movies that even like The Keeper is a really good African movie,
Mhm.
but then you have like some of them that you can really tell is like poor quality. I remember I was watching one of them and it was like a shooting scene and he pulls the gun out and it's like it sounds like popcorn is popping.
And the ones where they just disappear and like Photoshop.
So yes, we need some good quality stuff. It's sad because you know how it seems like sometimes the world makes better quality movies than
Because you know who funds the world, right?
yeah, of course.
Exactly.
But yeah, but there are good movies out there, so I just want to get them all together, in a platform for people. So Joanna's saying, are you able to? Can you build out an app without having a website?
Yes, of course. You don't really need a website to build an app. Definitely not.
Okay. So Joanne says, for building out an app similar to Yelp, would you have to link the app to some sort of database?
Yes. You would need a backend to build an app like that to power the backend. Yeah, you would need a database.
Okay. So if kind of for the app that I'm doing with the Wisdom Corner. So like when I do my live streams, because they already know I'm on here answering questions. So if I were to archive all the questions I've ever answered from now to 3 years ago and create an app, so if somebody has a question, they can just type it in. So they would have to use like my video content for the database.
Yes.
Or how?
Yeah, we create like a backend that had basically a library of all the videos that you want, and then we would put keywords attached to each video. So once they do a search for a specific keyword, all the videos that pertain to that will show up.
Okay, so and I can even maybe have categories on there. So if they come on the app and they're want to learn something about faith, they can just click faith or click spiritual growth or click spiritual warfare or how to fight witches or how to break a curse, and they can just okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. But all right, that's gonna be good. All right, so Ashley says, especially some of those inspiring Christian content we have been watching recently. Yeah, we've been watching some good stuff in the Friend of God mentorship. Some good movies. People are crying on here and everything. But it was also spiritually edifying.
I think there's a change going on now. Have you heard of the movie by not Pixar, but there's 3D animation movie called The King of Kings coming out?
King of Kings?
Yes.
It's a 3D animated one?
Yes. It's high quality Pixar level quality. It's coming out this month. It's called The King of Kings. It's all about Jesus. I was so impressed. I was like, wait, who made this movie? Like,
I'm gonna check that out. Is it coming out in the theaters?
Yes. in the theaters.
Oh, y'all hear that?
Like, what is going on? Jesus has gone to Hollywood. Like, we're about to
Is it
take
coming
place.
out next month or this month?
I believe it's this month. I'll double check.
Man, it would be nice if it was still out when we have our retreat that's coming up, so we could probably go to it together. Ashley says, "Oh yeah." Yep, Diane, the prayer should be. But I think for those of you who are like intercessors, I think being on this the other app, the one where people can send in prayer requests, that is so good because I think a lot of times when people are going through things, they just feel so alone, and
Yep.
it's a part of the enemy's strategy to make people feel like they're alone in certain things. So being able to just go on the app and be like, hey, let me put in a prayer request, you know and it's funny because y'all in the class know that I'll tell you guys to pray, and this is actually a prayer that I've taught them, like if you're going through a lot and you feel like the enemy's surrounding you, you will literally pray, in the name of Jesus, I put my name on the hearts and minds of holy intercessors across the globe. Like that's literally a prayer I've taught them. Now they can actually tap into that, right? Like you actually go in and put an actual prayer request in.
And you
So,
see
yeah.
who prays for you, because it will come up, like your prayer count will come up. It will be like, this person prayed for you, and you'll see.
Oh wow! So you'll see like, hey, 20 people prayed for me. Wow,
Yeah.
that is so cool. All right. All right. Fatima says the movie comes out on April 11th. That is during the retreat. Yo, we're going to watch it together. We're going to watch it together. We'll be in Latin America, but we'll find a movie theater that can play it in English. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, wow, like I can't believe this is coming out.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who just came on, this is the app that I'm talking about for the prayer request. It's the Signs and Wonders app. That's the one on the left. Okay, that's the Signs and Wonders app. That's the one where you can go in and put in a prayer request, and then you can have someone pray for you, and a bunch of people, pray for you. Which is, this is really cool. All right, so we are running out of time. We went so fast. This is like it's so
That
much
was so
fun.
quick.
I know. It's been almost an hour. Like it doesn't feel like an hour. Okay, so this is a good point. Sonia says on that app, are the prayer requests anonymous or private?
So you can choose. You can make it anonymous, and it won't put your name in there. And then you can also create a prayer request just for you and not publish it, and just have your prayer request, and then keep your count of your prayer requests, and then see when it's answered. And you can switch it to answer, so you can see how many answered prayers you've had.
That is really cool. Y'all hear that, guys? I like that. So you can have like your own private prayer request, and then you can see as God has answered, and you move into the answered section. That is awesome. All right. So what I'm going to do is give you, a second to share anything else that's on your heart that you want to tell them, and then tell us how we can find you. For those who, yes, Tiffany says, can you give her contact info again, please? Yes, it is. I'm going to let her say it, and then I'll put it or the thing back up on the screen, and y'all can see her website right here, mymvpapp.com. But go ahead.
Yes, you can either email me from my website, mymvpapp.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, the app queen. It's one word, and send me a message, and I will get back to you on there.
Mm-hmm. And her name is on the screen, guys. It's pronounced Bukola, right?
Bukola, yes.
Yeah. All right. So it is on the screen, but she's known as the App Queen. So if you search, you go to the App Queen at the App Queen. You should be able to find her on social media.
Yes.
Okay. So it's here up on the screen again. If you guys want to, I don't know, screenshot it or, go ahead and scan it so you can download it. That would be awesome. But this was the fastest hour I think I've ever,
I
ever
know.
done.
Okay.
It's like there's no way we've been on here for an hour already. It's more like 50 minutes since we came on a couple of minutes later. But yes, so everybody has it. You'll have our contact information. All right. And while you're in the let me put it back up again. What's the other app? I know there's the Sanctified. What's the other one?
Signs and Wonders.
Okay, so while y'all in the Signs and Wonders app, make sure you're also praying for the app queen, okay? Because the devil doesn't like when Christians are moving forward and doing things and they're getting a following. And so make sure you're also praying for the app queen in there as well.
And I
Ashley
pray for
says,
everybody on my app too. I pray for
yeah,
people that submit requests as
yeah,
well.
she prays for people in her app. That is so awesome. Chloe says, love what you're doing, Cola. God bless the work um, of your hands. And I think Ashley says, in the SAW, the Signs of Wonders app, do you have anyone that controls who prays for others, like admins?
No, we don't have admins right now, but we do moderate what can be posted. So your prayer request would need to be approved before it actually shows up, because we don't want, the devil going in there and type in some nonsense.
That's another thing that I was about to ask, because we even on here when we have my live stream, sometimes you got witches and people come in here and start typing curses in the chat, like literally,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
while we're live. So yeah, so like Sonia says, she says she likes the privacy option to be able to put your prayer request in there anonymously, because you may not want, know who's
Your name. Yeah.
knowing your business. She says because of trolls. Yeah, so that's good to know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that is awesome. That was literally my only other question as far as like that goes, because people go in there and try to pray against what you what you're
Yes.
asking for. Lisa says I'll be praying for you, App Queen.
Amen.
Oh, so Christopher says, are you looking for software QA engineer interns?
Unfortunately, at this time, no. But if we are, we'll definitely, send your information over and we'll see.
All right. So yeah, I guess if she has anything, any opening, she'll let me know. Christopher. Um, that's a good. I mean, doesn't hurt to ask.
Yep. But you can always sign up to our beta testers. That's completely free. So,
Oh yeah, beta test. Yeah, that's for you. Anybody can go in there and do that, right? Okay. Sonia says, from one STEM sister in Christ to another, blessings and
amen.
continued success. All
Amen.
right, awesome. So just I want to say thank you so much, for coming out and taking the time out of your, busy schedule, with running your businesses and everything, to be here with our audience today. And I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Christopher. He says, I just had to shoot my job shot.
I know
All
you.
right, guys. So we are going to get ready to wrap it up for tonight. Again, thank you so much for taking the time out to come out. And I'm going to put her information on the screen again. And then I will see you guys on the next live stream, which is going to be tomorrow. So have a great night, everyone. Have a great Tuesday night. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And just leave it on here for a little bit. So if anybody needs to screenshot it or to share it or to scan it, you'll be able to do that. Let's just give it some time.